rankings in tomorrow's final. But we're concentrating now on mixed doubles, our second mixed doubles semi-final of the day, and it features the number 2 and 3 seeds. Joachim Fishcher Nielsen and Christinna Pedersen of Denmark up against Chen and Ma Jin of China.
여성 1번 코트에서는 덴마크의 요아킴 피셔 니엘슨, 크리스티나 페더슨 선수와 중국의 chen, 마진 선수의 코너 복식 경기가 펼쳐지겠습니다. 주심은 한국의 김강현 씨, 부심은 한국의 김효정 씨, 선수는 신규입니다.
So the players just been announced. The next match on court. But in mixed doubles, I know we alluded to it earlier when we looked at the top half of the mixed doubles draw, because all 8 pairs in the top half of the draw come the second round were all from different nations. But you look at the overall draw of mixed doubles at quarterfinals yesterday, 2 Chinese pairs, 2 Danish pairs. But apart from that, there has been a very good mix. We had an Indian pair in quarterfinal. We've seen the Russians earlier today.
Yes, and it was a British pair that knocked out the top seeds and number 1 pair in the world. So there's good variety in this event at the moment. I have to say, this match coming onto court in 2011, some of the best matches that we saw were between these 2 pairs, involving these 2 pairs. So I'm really looking forward to this one.
Yes, and that's not surprising. They produce good matches when they're ranked 2 and 3 in the world. But the surprising thing with all of their previous encounters, all 6 of them, is that every single match has been won or lost in 2 straight games, which, considering your comment, and I totally agree with you, that it's been some of the best matches we've witnessed in mixed doubles, these 2 pairs playing against each other, that it hasn't yet been to the full distance of 3 games.
No, but in each of the matches, there's such good intensity between these 2 pairs. Some really interesting matchups between the players themselves, contrasting styles. Just makes for very, very interesting badminton.
Yeah, it certainly does. Danes, a left-handed Joachim Fishcher Nielsen, 33 years of age, and playing some of the best badminton of his life. His partner, Christinna Pedersen, 25. So, Chinese pair, Chen and Ma Jin. Ma Jin, of course, is a former world champion in mixed doubles, won in Paris with Chen. He's no longer part of the national team. Got dropped following those world championships. And he knew he was going to be dropped because bad attitude was cited as the reason for dropping him. But I have to say, I thought that Chen actually produced some better results playing with Ma Jin than our current partner. But let's have a closer look at the Danes first before we discuss that a little further. Number 3 in the world rankings, as I say, and look at that marvellous win-loss record for last year. That translates into 6 finals, winning 2 of them. Winning 4 of them, what am I talking about? 7 finals for the Danes. Won the Swiss, the Denmark Super Series, French Super Series back-to-back. And then they won invitational events between Christmas and New Year. But that, of course, doesn't count towards world rankings. So as far as ranking tournaments are concerned, 6 finals. And the 33-year-olds, tall man, 189, 6'2½". She's a tall lady as well, both tall players, 178, that's 5'10". And of course, she also plays women's doubles now, highly successful partnership with Camilla Rutayul. Well, their first ever semi-final at the Korea Open, and it was actually this event that stimulated this partnership coming together, because it was at the Korean Open that Britta Andersson used to play with Joachim Fishcher Nielsen, ruptured her anterior cruciate ligaments, and therefore Christinna Pedersen came into the partnership, and they've stayed together ever since and been highly successful too. Well, there you can see their first two matches, absolutely marathon affairs, including that hour and 23 minutes against Soji Sato and Shizuki Matsuo. Slightly easier in the quarterfinal against the Indian pair of Diju Valiavitil and Juala Gutta. Well, there's Zhu Chen, 27 years of age. And you can see their win-loss records exactly the same for their careers as for last year, because they only formed their partnership last year. In fact, they formed it at this very tournament. Korean Open, where they reached the semi-final, losing out to the eventual champions, Jiang Nang and Zhao Yunlei, who you were mentioning were beaten in the first round here by the British pairing of Adcock and Bankia. So they won 2 tournaments last year, both of them Super Series, the All England and the China Masters. Now, they've had a very comfortable route through to the semi-final. And it's been very impressive, because the first round match against 2-time former world champion Nova Wodianto, playing with Vita Marisa, and then against Dukin and Vizlova from Russia, and then against former world champions from Denmark, number 8 seeds, Leiborn and Ruta Yul. And that is impressive, all of those matches in 2 straight games. So, as we were saying, previous matches, all 6 of them in 2 straight games. The last time they met was the semi-final of the Super Series finals in Luzhou, and on that occasion it was won by the Chinese pair. Well, all Korean court officials. Kim Kang-hyung is our umpire, and Jung Ming Ho, she's our service judge. But
on my right, Chen and Majin, China. And on my left, Joachim Fishcher Nielsen and Christinna Pedersen, Denmark. Majin to serve, Joachim Fishcher Nielsen. Double play.
so the umpire calls for the start of play, and Ian, picking up on those previous head-to-head matches, very interesting that prior to the Super Series finals, it was the Danes who had won 3 consecutive encounters, including 2 finals, the Danish and French Opens back-to-back, and also the semi-final in Hong Kong. It was a great run they had at the end of last year, the Danes.
It was, they were in great form. We were fortunate enough to see the game in Luzhou, and I have to say the difference was Ma Jin. Ma Jin played a fantastic match in that particular tournament and was really able to dominate the net position and create a lot of attacking opportunities for a partner. So that'll be really interesting to see how the Danes try and counter that in this match.
Well, I know I've asked you this question before about the best front court player in world badminton as far as mixed is concerned, so obviously we're talking about female player, and how Ma Jin rates against the current other players, and indeed rates against some of the great players of the past, because I mean, I think she's far from fulfilling her full potential. She's only 23 years of age. Goodness me, that good defence as well. We've been singing her praises about net play. What a rally. Oh, extraordinary rally for these early stages. But, you know, I personally have huge regard for Ma Jin as a front court player.
I think you touched on another aspect there as well, Jill, that I think in this combination, I think her defence is better than Zhu Chen's. I think her defence, she's got the best defence of any of the top girls at the moment, that's sure. But she's also a fantastic front court player. She's as good as anybody, certainly. But I think there are some very, very good front court players around at the moment. But she's as good as any of them. But as I say, one of the decisive factors for me is that her defensive quality is unbelievable. There's the example you're looking for, Jill.
Yeah.
She takes three together, reads the play, follows the shuttle. Always looking for the shuttle, and look at that, great reactions. Sure, Christinna was trying to push past her there, but racket was up ready, able to divert the shuttle into space.
The defense.
Well play smash from Joachim. But she wasn't just trying to get it back, was she? She's confident enough to try and actually play a deceptive block to the net off it.
I think the other thing for us to watch out for is her movement off the shuttle. So when her partner is about to play a shot, how she positions herself on court, how she always keeps moving.
That's good.
Yeah, good angle.
That demonstrates the strength of Joachim. He's always looking to move up the court, isn't he? Never lets the shuttle come to him. He's always looking to take it out in front of himself, reduce his opponent's time.
Chen, of course, now just concentrating on her mixed doubles. Very fine women's doubles player as well. Of course, she was in the final of the World Championships in Paris in 2010 with Wang Xiaoli, who's now playing with Yu Yang. Oh, my goodness. Little moment of magic.
That's a Fischer special. We've seen that a few times, haven't we? He's pushing up the court. Look how high on the court he is. Has to take it late. Fast cross-court drive from behind himself. Great vision.
Pretty powerful smash too, wasn't it, from Chen?
Well, he hits well and he gets a lot of opportunities playing with Margin, because that was great setup play from her again. Forces Pedersen off the net position, then blocks in front of her. Forces her to play the lift.
I thought it was powerful.
There's the power he can supply when he's got time. trait of Joachim there. Likes to be really aggressive on return of serve. In particular, doesn't like to let the man serve well to him. Likes to put a lot of pressure on. Because the male player serving from a little deeper in the court gives him a little bit more time. Really likes to try and impose himself in those situations.
Just leapt from the base position there, ready position. Play the smash off the flick serve.
Christinna knows she's got to get in and compete on the net, but again, she was intent. I think she was going to play the block there, saw margin moving forward and tried to push through and just made the error. That's a good return again.
Yeah, the use of the mid-court area, very, very important in mixed doubles. Just gives it enough pace to get it past margin. The shuttle's landing in front of Chen at the back of the court. I think mid-court area shots is one of the things that really you'd never see that much in singles. It's an area of the court that you specialise. If you're a doubles specialist, it's totally different shots that are required throughout the match. And sometimes people watching racket sports in tennis, there's not such a difference between singles and doubles players on the sort of shots they practice and the sort of skills that they have, whereas in badminton it's very different skill set, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Totally different training for the singles and the doubles players. Different skill set required, as you say.
Whoops. A little bit of confusion between Chen and Margin. Margin quite obviously wanting to encroach in on the net as soon as possible. And they're discussing who should have done what there.
I'm not sure they were discussing. I think Margin was telling. In those situations, she wants to go forward. She saw a partner move forward and that led to the confusion.
And from a coach's perspective, would you agree with her on that?
I would, yeah.
Yep. Well, it is the number 2 seeds that have the slenderest of possible advantages at the mid-game interval. Just 1 point in it. It's interesting to me in the way that Margin has really blossomed in the last 2 or 3 years. I can remember the first time that she played the All England with Zheng Bo, and of course Zheng Bo had had an awful lot of success with Gao Ling in the mixed doubles, and after her retirement from the national setup in Beijing, he teamed up with Margin, and her first All England semi-final in the mid-game interval, she was in tears because he was giving her instruction, and now she's become the commander of the partnership, and she has got the confidence to be able to tell her male partner what she wants of him within the game, what tactics she requires to get her more involved in the net. And it really is an interesting development in her personality as well as just her skills.
Yeah, I'm sure she learned a lot, not just in terms of badminton from playing with Zheng Bo, but also in terms of on-court communication.
Yeah.
I mean, that particular occasion you're talking to, I mean, Zhengbo totally destroyed his own partner's confidence.
Yeah.
Because as we can see, she's a class player, but he was way too aggressive with her, and she fell apart in effect. But she's a real commander on the court now. Here's a good example, always looking to move forward, not afraid to attack the man. We spoke about it earlier on. Joachim was always looking to be aggressive on the short serve. Chen just throwing in the variety there, putting the quick flick in, forcing the error.
What a defensive shot from Christinna Pedersen. Goodness me, that was brilliant.
Great shot. Chen guilty of hitting into a strong area, though, you have to say. Hit straight onto a backhand defence, but she took the opportunity really well, didn't she? Great shot.
Well, when you defend a 285 km/h smash like that, oh, that is impressive. He's never adverse to coming forward to the net, is he?
No, it's another great example of how high he likes to play on the court. Always trying to be aggressive, always moving forward, even when his partner's in front of him there. Still looking to get in.
All level once again. 13 all. Oh, strings gone, haven't they? Oh, it's landed in. Well, she knew she had to stay at the back of the court because her partner's strings had gone. Wants to test the new racket.
Nice change of pace from Chen there didn't go for the full smash, just clipped it down, took the pace off.
Oh, it's just wide.
Yeah, it's a clear Danish tactic, isn't it, for Pedersen to push past margin.
Yep.
And I'm not sure that's a natural game. A natural game is to play the block and move in and try and control the tape, isn't it? Yeah, this time it's the full smash.
And from 13 all, 5 straight points. And I suspect those could be crucial. Oh, that's a good return.
Nice deception. But again, the intent is to push past margin, try and create some pressure on Chen. That's a lovely touch.
There's a weakness in the Danes. It is perhaps the defence of Christinna Pedersen.
Yeah, when she's forced off the net,
yeah,
she's a real target, isn't she? Yeah. Service fault called. Looked a good call as well. Just lifting his left hand before he struck the shuttle.
Oh. Well, an overrule from the umpire, and it was a correct overall, because I couldn't believe that that was called wide. That was clearly in.
It's way in.
Yeah. Game points now for the number 2 seeds, Chen and margin. Oh, that's good play from Christinna Pedersen. Quite obvious that Chinese were trying to keep her at the back of the court. Oh, she's a tall, strong athlete. One game point well saved. Pushed it long. And the Chinese pair take the opening game, 21-17. Frustration there for Christinna Pedersen. 21 minutes for that opening game, 21-17. So the players back on court for the start of the second game. Well, if the previous 6 encounters between these two pairs are anything to go by, it's fairly ominous then for the Danes, because all 6 previous matches between these two pairs have been won and lost in 2 straight games. But I did notice, Ian, that Lars Ulla, head coach to the Danes, was giving a lot of instruction in that 2-minute timeout.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they try and change the game, because I think they're playing, by trying to take margin out of the game, they're actually not getting their own strengths into the game, if you see what I mean. They're playing an alien game.
Yep.
By not using the net, they're actually not, that's not their natural game. The natural game is to try and impose and get control of that front court. And what they're doing is pushing past to Chen the whole time, and they're so intent on keeping margin out of the game that they're playing quite negatively. I think they've got to take some risks, go to the net and try and get Pedersen in at the net, as they've done there. You know, they've got to try and create some pressure and get control of the front court, rather than just trying to avoid playing front court altogether.
Yeah, and I have to say, the opening game, the tactics of trying to avoid the front court altogether were very different to when they beat the Chinese in the final of the Danish Open, the final of the French. And I'm just wondering whether it was that experience in Luzhou at the Super Series finals where, as you've pointed out, Ma Jin was outstanding in her performance, and they've read too much into that last encounter rather than also focusing on, well, what did we do right when we beat them?
Absolutely, absolutely right. They've come on playing quite, I think, a slightly negative tactic. You know, Christinna's not in the game on the front court, and when the Danes play well, Christinna plays well on the net.
Yeah.
Gets control and creates opportunities for Joachim. Yeah, we're seeing Joachim use a block there, which he didn't do in the first game. Good intensity, isn't it, from Chen from the rear court. Didn't take any risk, kept the shuttle coming down, and eventually got the error.
Oh, no, it's just wide. Oh, he's so expressive, isn't he?
Yeah, commits on the return of serve, but didn't find a good enough placement with his return. Chinese able to get the shuttle in behind him, and he was always in trouble.
Know exactly what he's feeling and thinking.
And he's able to take the attack, and once they get it, they're just keeping the shuttle going down, keeping the pressure on the Danish pair, keeping them off the net position.
Well, part of there he goes again, shouting at himself.
Well, you can see that he's trying to use a little bit more block in the second game, but he knows margin's there, and he's just making one or two errors, playing too tight, not giving himself any margin at all. Good return.
There's a solid defence you were talking about. Well, it took a miss hit in the end. Get the shuttle down.
The intent was good though, he was moving forward, closing the space down. We're seeing from rear court, right in the rear court, moving forward. Slight miss hit, but good intent.
We've mentioned their superb form at the end of last year. Just to emphasise that, they had a run of 5 consecutive finals in 5 tournaments played, starting at the Japan Super Series event. And when you consider that the strength of the top 2 Chinese pairs, that was a remarkable run by the Danes. Good smash.
It is. Again, just question the tactic. Christinna Pedersen's got one of the great short serves in the game. Yet at the moment, almost every time she's serving to margin, it's the flick serve to try and take margin away from the net position. And again, I just think that's a slightly negative tactic, really. She needs to serve short, make margin take it from below the net and challenge her for that net position to try and win the attack.
Rally by the Chinese pair.
Chen learnt his lesson from margin. That time when it was lifted up the middle, margin moves forward, Chen moves out. It's a good attack.
She's beginning to get a little frustrated now, is Christinna Pedersen. Just picking up on the points that you made, Ian, you've been making throughout the entirety of this match. To me, it's the fact Christinna Pedersen's reluctance to play back to the net. It's almost as if she's saying to her opponent, okay, I accept you're a better player than me at the front of the court, and therefore I'm not going to challenge you and take you on.
fantastic trick shot from Chen there. But yeah, coming to your point, Jill, you know, they had a great run of results. They won 3 matches in a row against this pair by Christinna Pedersen, serving short, getting the racket up, getting in, competing, creating opportunities for a partner. And I just think she's got to take the risk now and try and go for the net. Try and take margin on. Because she's proven over the last 12 months that she can compete in that area.
Absolutely. Not only compete, I mean, on those 3 occasions, those 3 consecutive occasions, the Danes beat this Chinese pair. It was Pedersen who was outstanding. Her net play, her block defence, her serves, as you say, was the difference. She was trying to go in again, wasn't she? Really taking her time. Oh, that's good defence. Well, to the mid-game interval, with a 5-point advantage. Chen and margin.
Yeah, definite signs that the Danes are a little bit frustrated at the moment. As I say, I think they've got to go back to their natural game and take some risks around the front court. They need the attack. They need to be creating attacking opportunities. Get Joachim in the game, get him fired up.
Yeah, and it doesn't take much to get him fired up. Very intense player on court, great work ethic, 100% effort in every rally. He only needs 1 shot or so. He will be back with his belief.
Yeah, again, great vision from Margin. This time she steps off the net, reads the plush, and gives Joachim no time to get organised in defence.
Between the leg shot from Joachim Fischer.
Yeah, good concentration from Chen though. It's desperation from Joachim. Well placed the second time from Chen to finish the point.
Oh, that is brilliant, isn't it?
Well, a great crouch defence and then quickly up to change the direction with the next shot. She looks in great form. Look at that, that's a great shot. And able to just change the direction and use the space with the next one.
Goodness me. Well turned round in that rally by the Danes.
Yeah, just off balance attacking, wasn't he? That caused the problem. And then he was always out of position.
Showing his cartwheel skills. Well, deceived by the block in the previous rally, and immediately the next rally plays one to his opponents. Looks to me, I don't know if I'm being a little harsh here, Ian, but it looks to me as if the Danes are a little fatigued, and I mean that not as in physically, but as in mentally. I mean, they've played an awful lot of tournaments, and of course they played the invitational event in their home country, the Copenhagen Masters, between Christmas and New Year. Of course, they had a couple of trips to Asia just before Christmas, the Hong Kong and China Open Super Series, then the Super Series finals in China, then the Copenhagen Masters, then back out to Asia again. And I wonder if, you know, you actually need that little spark of, you know, looks to me as if they're almost running on empty as far as inspiration is concerned in their matches.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. I think we spoke about it in Luzhou that in an Olympic year, I think players really need that break over Christmas, New Year. You know, they can train, no problem at all, but to put an extra tournament in there with the Copenhagen Masters, I think is a big ask for these players. They had a great run. You know, if they'd have been losing first and second round in one or two of the tournaments, okay. Yeah, maybe put it in and get some extra match play over the holiday period. Having reached sort of 3 or 4 consecutive finals and played that number of matches with that amount of intensity,
yeah,
they really needed a break, I feel.
Yeah.
And you can see from the scores in the early rounds, it's been a real battle for them here.
Yeah,
against pairs really that they've been beating comfortably for the last 6 months. They've had to fight really hard this week, which of course they always will do.
Yes.
You know, they're great battlers and really give it everything, but yeah, the decision making's maybe not been as sharp as it was 3 months ago.
Yeah, they just seem to be lacking that spark that was just so apparent and so delightful to watch in the autumn last year. Oh, that's a heck of a returnable flick serve, isn't it? Great smash.
Yeah, he was behind him. Managed to control it down to the line with good power.
Chen actually slipped over in that rally, and I wonder if Joachim Fischer was just distracted by that, and that's why he made the error. But now with a 10-point advantage, the Chinese looking very good indeed. Yeah, it's just not happening for them today, the Danes.
No, this goes down as an easy error. It wasn't a great block from Margin. Christinna Pedersen's just not had enough opportunities in that area, has she? She's got no form at the front court in this match.
Host of match point opportunities now. But they only needed the one. Totally dominant in the second game. Number 2 seed Chen and Margin 21-17, 21-8. And that's the most one-sided match that we've had in 7 encounters between these two pairs. But Chen and Margin thoroughly deserve the victory. 44 minutes. And they're through to the final, where, of course, they will meet Lee Yong-dae and Ha Jung-eun. Disappointing in a way, Ian, as far as the Danes were concerned, their level of performance.
Yeah, I just think they've struggled throughout the week, really. I don't think the conditions particularly suit them here. They've had to battle really hard to get to this semi-final, and there, I'm afraid, they were just a little bit off the pace, really.
Yeah, and that's to take nothing away from their opponents, who were superb. And that confirms what's happened so far, and that we've got just one more semi-final to come. It's men's singles. It's the defending champion, reigning world and Olympic champion, Lin Dan of China, in a battle of the left-handers against Sho Sasaki of Japan. So this from the bottom half of the draw, of course. And Lin Dan coming through in 3 games against the left-hander Lee Hyun-il. And then had to play against Jan Jorgensen, who overcame former world champion Chen in their second round encounter. He needed 3 games against the Dane as well. Sho Sasaki, well, he's just been quietly making his way through the tournament. 2008 World Junior Champion Wang Zhengming in the second round, in the quarterfinal. Yet another left-hander, Mark Schwiebler of Germany. That was 2 straight games, but as you can see, it was very, very tight in that second game. So it means that in the bottom half of the draw, at quarter-final stage, 3 of the 4 players were left-handers.